Good morning. There's some very good news that is coming out of Utah on the heels of the information coming out in Washington State with a bill or two there and one in California, some civil action out there that directs the Department of Corrections to re-tier or reclassify onto a lower tier those who have been convicted of a computer solicitation type charge because those charges are increasingly suspect as to what police have been doing. We've been saying throughout, and we've encouraged people watching this channel to find out for themselves that what police are doing on these sites is very suspect. What people don't understand is that when police go on very sensitive sites, whether it be gaming sites, dating sites, particularly, there are very vulnerable people on these sites, and there are not people who are necessarily looking for some kind of illegal, immoral, or unethical behavior. As I've said before, this does happen. I keep being attacked online by people telling me, no, you're saying it never happens. Never said that. Show me where I say it never ever happens. What I'm saying is they're playing a dangerous game that captures uh, kids who don't uh, have very great social skills. I'm trying to be kind here. People who are autistic, people who are not looking for children at all, and they exploit those people while claiming that those people wrongly exploit children. And this attempts to level the playing field in a very intelligent way. The Utah bill, SB 0155, removes from the lifetime registry requirement in keeping with the American Law Institute and their findings, the findings of other groups, and the findings of the Supreme Courts of several states that say nobody should be on lifetime registration, that they will now put people into a position where they can get off the registry. There's a way to get off the registry, which Virginia doesn't have, which many places don't have, that you can petition a court. I'll let you read the bill. It's very short. I'm going to post it in the description here. But more importantly, you can't be on for more than 10 years. So there's a recognition also that the registry doesn't do any great good, that a public registry simply enables the worst elements of the public to harass, to cajole, to follow people around. And when they find that these people who have supposedly committed a sex offense are at a new job, they can call the job and get them fired. And don't think this doesn't happen. It's happened to me 3 times. It's happened to other people in far worse conditions. But perhaps the most important thing here is it recognizes that we're dealing with situations where there's not real children even involved. The Internet Crimes Against Children Task Force, the Missing and Exploited Children Task Force out west, OUR, and many of these organizations that are quasi law enforcement or claim they were either made up statistics, claimed that their number one goal was to go after people who would harm children and exploit them. And what they end up with time and time again is a group of nothing, a group of people who were beside the point. Why? Because they have to show that their efforts produced something. They're under tremendous pressure from the public and from politicians, and they get grant money, which they use for many purposes here, and they have to show a result. They have to. And again, I've been really gone after for the last several days, and YouTube has actually swooped in and removed a lot of the more egregious comments that you haven't seen if you've been watching the channel. Uh, Attacked by people who have said all manner of things, that they Googled me or they Googled you or something, or they Googled somebody I talked about, and they're sure that we're wrong. Well, folks, I'm saying that the evidence is not on Google in plain sight. In other words, if you're Googling a news article, you're not going to find out anything other than what the police told the reporter. And this is reporters are not universally investigative reporters. There's all types of reporters. There's stringers. They write, they're independent. They write an article here and there. There are people who come in and do a particular beat. So they go to the police station, they get the police blotter. They may or may not talk to the detective or the supervising officer. I used to do that as well as be an investigative reporter. It doesn't work the way you seem to think it works. So you're not going to find it either when you go to the court. You're going to find what the court said, but the court transcript may be there, but the court is not going to go in and show all the evidence that they had in there either. They're not going to have that. The individual, when they get done with the case, they give the evidence often back to the the defendant and to the state prosecutor. I mean, you're not going to find it in plain sight as you think. So how can you verify this? Well, you can talk to the people who have the evidence, people like me. But of course, I've been told I don't want to talk to you because you're a dirty, rotten felon. Fine, you're not going to get the information. But it's not going to be as juicy as you think it is. Context matters. What matters in all these cases, and the reason the laws are slowly starting to change, and you're starting to get bills out there where people recognize this is out of control. What you're going to find is it's much more nuanced. It's much more appalling where you're seeing government agents, read police here, doing things they should not be doing. And that affects really offends the consciousness of the American public. And the conscience isn't there on the part of the police to stop it. I've heard from policemen, even one a couple of weeks ago, who told me, yeah, I mean, we routinely played with the evidence. We routinely massaged it this way or that way if we didn't outright just timestamp it differently or something like that. So don't tell me it doesn't happen. But this is exciting news out of Utah, exciting news out of Washington State and other places as well. And don't forget, in places like here in Virginia, we've been able to stop some of the worst abuses, some of the worst bills. When I first started this about 8 years ago, there were terrible bills coming through, horrid bills coming through. And now they're much, much more gentle. They're much more subtle. They're much more sly, I can say, where they're trying to nibble around the edges, change a little here and a little there. And people say, oh, that's not so bad. But what it does is it begins to open up the door, pry it open so that they can do worse things. So all of it must be opposed. The registry itself costs millions of dollars to set up, millions of dollars over the lifetime to maintain. And where has it been shown to save anybody? Where has it been shown to put somebody in jail who wasn't really going against the child, who wasn't really looking for a time with the child, where the police worked very, very hard to massage that case? Where has it been shown that the public was actually better off? It hasn't really. So, good news out there. Please read the Utah law. It's very short down below, and you have a good day.